once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and this thought just hit me real suddenly as I was getting ready to start. We all know what time it is, man. It is Talcott time, baby. Thank you. Thank you sincerely to all of you who are tuning in live, checking in with me now or later. Blessings to all of you. And if it is later, please, you can get away with speeding me up. I know I talk slow. And sometimes it's on purpose, and sometimes it's just out of habit, because that's who I am. But today, brothers and sisters, I am filled with ideas and thoughts, once again, inspirations about escaping hell with joy, with laughter. It's really the way. It might be the only way, but one way or another, it all leads to that joy and laughter in the heavenly realms. Once we experience those things, there's no going back. At least that's the awareness I've found. Today's Tuesday. Gratitude really is the topic, and the background is peace, and we're going to connect the dots between those things. At least that's my hope. It is Thanksgiving week here from the American perspective. So my Thanksgiving week to-do list sounds pretty good. Let's count our blessings. Let's let go of what can't be controlled. Let's practice kindness. Let's listen to the heart. Let's be thankful for all that has been given to me. And how about we just breathe, right? Letting it go, baby, letting it go. That's where freedom is found. And what I found, this observation, consider it for yourself. It's the awareness of gratitude. Okay, if you don't find gratitude in your awareness, in your perspective, you're not going to feel it. So you can actually enjoy creating a practice of appreciation. I've talked about habits of gratitude before, developing that practice, but a practice of appreciation. Think about the logic for yourself, okay? You can imagine that. What happens if you spend more time in your day appreciating more things? Hello, you enjoy more of your day. And if you enjoy more of your days, you add those up, you enjoy more of your months, your weeks, your months, your years. Next thing you know, you've lived a life of joy and contentment. How? Because you decided to let go of the hell and to start enjoying the heavenly ways. Because there's only one way to be once you know it. Once God allows you to allow yourself to see what God has shown you, okay? Once God allows you to allow yourself to see, right? To see what you've been overlooking, to see where maybe you were wrong, to see where maybe that opinion wasn't as important as you thought, or that moment of time maybe wasn't all that you imagined it to be. See, once you change your perspective on things, it's like this veil of confusion, it fades away. So there's many ways to achieve this fading away of the veil that I'm talking about. There's many, many ways. But it all leads to the same path. All of us are going to go through the same path in order to grow in our awareness. To grow in our awareness, we must open our minds to greater ideas, to look beyond the limitations of life, right? When you start thinking beyond the limitations of your strength, of your ability, of your past experiences, once you stop thinking past the limits, or you start thinking past the limits, everything starts to change. I mean, that was my experience, and I know whether others have recognized it or not, they've experienced the same things. People who go through these patterns of addiction and, you know, misery, depression, and, if they don't find some path to numbing, some other method of escape, people will heal. And when they heal, what they're doing is they're looking past the darkness. They're looking past the old identity. They're allowing themselves to reframe their perspective, one from darkness into light. I'm pretty sure we can all do this, especially if you have the idea. I mean, that's where everything comes from. Reminded me of a YouTube conversation I was having earlier. Today, some of my ideas: escaping hell with joy and laughter. Let's think about what is hellish. I mean, there's varying degrees of hell. There's states of experience, and hell is the absence of hope. It's the absence of comfort. It's the absence of answers and love. That is hell. And then that creates a lot of pain and misery and suffering here in the world. And there is a lot of that. It's part of the story we're participating in. God's plans, baby, God's plans. Think about God's plans, and then you start to figure out what you're doing. I'm pretty sure that's what Jesus was teaching, man. To escape hell, figure out what it means. Define heaven for yourself. See, in my past, I kind of refused religion and I refused the idea of God because I didn't see any miracles, right? I didn't see any burning bush or, nothing speaking to me, man. I ain't gonna believe in that. So then I started believing in the fairy tale of the American dream. I even played the role of soldier and crap, just golly jeez. Praise God. What God has been doing with me my whole life, I swear, there's something happening beyond just me and you. But if you're here with me, please allow yourself to understand me. I promise if you do understand me, it's for your own benefit. I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I'm not trying to convert anyone or confuse anyone. But I am hoping to share this experience I found of inner peace. See, behind all the pain, behind all the discomfort, behind all of the darkness the world brings, there's a stillness. And in that stillness, there's a peace. And if you practice settling into the peace, the chaos of the mind can settle. But it takes practice, and it takes a willingness, and it takes a little commitment in order to develop the practice. But if you practice dropping into the stillness of the moment, being in the present with the wholeness, and the wholeness includes the perfection of the Almighty, right? The perfection of God is with all things, and all things are with you. So connect the dots. There's no separation from you and the mind and the power and control of the Creator. I mean, God created you and me to become you and me. Now figure out where you are in that equation, right? And we can see, when we can see each other as the spirit and the essence of life, recognizing that the Christic, the pure, loving awareness of life that was embodied through Jesus, many others, right? But he is the perfected one. He was the one that was given to us. God-like in his living, right? How did he live? What is God like? What does that mean? It's not this power hungry, punishing, demanding God that many religions have taught. We are to be as Christ was. Christ was intelligence, animated by the sacred. He allowed the holiness of the truth of love to move him. This is my interpretation of the Holy Spirit. It makes sense. If you allow life to make sense, it does. God shows us what we need. It's may not be in our conscious awareness, but there's layers to our mind. And your mind is more than your mind is a mystery, but it's up to you. It's up to you to master. And I think the only way of self-mastery, true self-mastery in the likeness of Jesus, is true surrender. Surrender to the full will of God. Surrender to the fact that you can know God's will for you. If you pay attention to the signs, you'll hear it. You'll hear the facts speaking to you, right? Figuratively. You'll see things in what the world shows you, what you overhear, what you notice. Even though there is intentional devilish ways to program us with these algorithms and echo chambers, God is behind it all, baby. God is behind it all. So look beyond it all. Look beyond the all to know, right? Good and bad, they're just perceptions. They're just moments. They're just titles that we give. Be like God. Be aware. Be fully aware. Allow, right? Because that's what God is doing. God has created the space and the time for all things to be, and whatever is what God is allowing to be. So be with that which is, be with what is, be with who you are, be with who others are. Accept it all, right? But remember, my words, everyone's words, their opinions, right? And everything you see is just a perception. Everything you feel is a sensation. It's not as real as we believe, okay? The only thing that I've come to this conclusion truly, that the only thing that is real is God, the unchanging, that allows change to be, and it's with you and me. So be like God, be aware and allow. Now, we're not God, so rather than giving life, we are here to receive life, right? And so you got to allow yourself to receive all that life has given to you. Accept nothing less than what God has shown you. And seek nothing more. So be aware and allow. And in that allowance, what you find when the mind settles and you start relaxing your nervous system just by being grateful with your breath, what you find in your being aware and allowing, you see beauty, you see balance emerge. And that's what God is doing with us. God is being in its greatness and allows all things to be in their own unique power and greatness. Because it's great to be unique. And while there is common, perhaps, there is no ordinary. And not in my understanding of God. For everything in life, each day, it really is a mystery. It just happens with us, through us, and for us. It's really easy to lose track of those things when you're being controlled by a schedule. You're worried about these regulations and these legal systems and these politics and all the rumors and the gossip and oh, what are they doing? Right? We drive ourselves nuts. We drive each other nuts when we don't align ourselves with God. That's what I found for myself. Um, Hey, I'm going to drop the link here pretty soon. In order to escape hell, it would be better to avoid hell. Beautiful. Absolutely. If you can avoid your hell and your suffering, hello, McFly. Do what you got to do to avoid your hell and suffering, but don't run from things. Don't be afraid of things. Don't be afraid of walking through hell for a little bit. Just walk through. Walk through. Oh shit, this hurts. Oh shit, this is uncomfortable. But walk through it and witness it. Whatever you choose is it's for you. Realize that, and then you realize how you've become you. And I mentioned limitations earlier, right? Our comfort zones are created by these paradigms, mental limits, excuses is really what it is. We create these walls of excuses of why this is good enough. Now, I speak kind of boldly, but I challenge everybody to look at where you've been making excuses, why you settled for good enough. Why aren't you chasing better? Why aren't you growing? Why aren't you doing more? And I'm saying that to myself too, and pretty often, right? Why aren't you doing more? Because if we done more, if we accept that we could have done more, we will do more. We'll learn from that mistake. If we accept, I could have done more, I could have done a little bit better. I was thinking about this earlier, and I know how absurd it sounds, but when I was a child, I could have done a much better job of being a leader in my family, but I didn't know enough. I didn't know what I was doing, but I can admit it. I can admit where I went wrong, and you know, I forgive myself, but I know I could have done better for my family, my mother, my stepfather, my real father, my brothers, my sisters. Could have done a lot better for a lot of people, and I didn't. But we learn as we go, right? We learn as we go. And if we're willing to accept, yeah, damn, I could have done better. Well, that becomes an inspiration to do better, right? A willingness to recognize our flaws. And I'm going down this path, kind of a dark path and a little Debbie Downer, but the reality is we have a criminal government, criminal economic system. The entire man's law, it protects corruption, it protects exploitation, it protects oppression, it protects deception. It is evil. Man's laws are unlawful. They defy nature. Okay. And the only reason that this nation, America, and the world empire has become what it is because we could have done better. We all could have done more to prevent what's happening from happening. And if you can't figure out what I'm referring to with what's happening, let's point out a couple of obvious, right? Hundreds of thousands, millions affected by conflicts, Sudan, Israel, Palestine, Gaza, Ukraine, Russia, Americans sleeping in the streets, going to food banks because they're dependent on welfare, right? Not a community as much. And the community, we have a broken system. Broken systems create broken trust. It seems to me there's a YouTube channel like that. Um, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Ooh, yeah, I will. But I just remember I've got other things to share. I got a lot of other things to share today. One of which, real briefly, um, here, I'll do this too. To share time and gratitude. Gratitude is the topic, right? Because the path to escape hell with joy and laughter is gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation, they bring the feelings of joy. And when you can enjoy, when you find joy, greater joy, it turns into laughter. I realized this earlier today, admittedly, a little off topic, but kind of online. Earlier today, I had some time, and so I am who I am. I spent time massaging me, right? Oh man, deep pleasure. Just muscles moving around. It's like my fingers know where to go. My muscles just move on their own, and it's like just oh, just I found myself laughing because I was in so much pleasure. It was taking my breath away. And then I reflected on memories different than that, right? Memories different than that of crying from the pain, right? Being just broken and tears. These bodies are made for all sorts of contrast. Hey, and before I get into the self promotion, let's just flow with this. In the description today is a link to this man. For those who haven't learned of him yet, Rusty Eyeball, Sean Boland. The dude he's rough around the edges. He's a little profane, but he is hilarious in my mind and just filled with wisdom. Talks a lot about consciousness and, a better world. Today in the link, and I'll share it again too, actually. In the description, is a link to this. His words on gratitude. He's absolutely right. Gratitude is a fucking attitude.
Gratitude is a fucking attitude, but we often pollute it with the word for, like I'm grateful for this or for that. Same with gratitude's little cousin, thankful. They get similarly fucked up by the word for. I'm thankful for that or for this. Fucking for. Don't get me wrong, being grateful for the objects or people or circumstances of life is an amazing way to move through your experience of reality, but it's that damn word for that becomes problematic. You see, everything perceivable within this persistent illusion we call reality is temporary and is subject to change.
Everything in this reality is subject to change, right? We just got to settle into that. Now, maybe I shouldn't interrupt this too much, but
Death and decay. Therefore, everything that we are grateful for will one day change or be taken out of the equation of gratitude. Gratitude is a fucking attitude that we make codependent upon things that will always let us down someday and in some way. If we measure our ability to be grateful by an abundance of objects or certain kind of people or favored circumstances, then gratitude is not a fucking attitude. It is a coping mechanism that occasionally fails, and when it does, we find some outer thing to attach to it. Gratitude is not meant to be a psychological leech made of lies that sucks an object dry for the purpose of staving off dread or unhappiness. And speaking of happiness, both gratitude and happiness are woefully misunderstood things that rely on temporary situations to exist, when in truth, true happiness is what lies beneath all outer circumstances and thought forms themselves. And actual gratitude is simply a fucking attitude sustained only by itself.
that, right? Gratitude is an attitude. It's sustained only by itself. It doesn't need anything. Hey, Snafu, I would love to have a guest like him, but he works full-time job. I think he works a lot of hours if I remember right, but I don't know.
Maybe try this on for size. Instead of being grateful for something, just try being grateful, period.
Be
Make
grateful.
gratitude a fucking attitude in the same way that the sun shines. The sun casts light upon whatever side of a planet is currently facing it. It does not lament that the dark side of the earth is experiencing the night. It shines equally upon the brow of a holy person and a pile of dog shit. And if a holy person has dog shit upon their brow, the sun doesn't give a shit about that either. It just fucking shines. It's a tricky transition to make, though, because we determine happiness by either the existence or non existence of something or circumstance. We think we need reasons to be grateful, but gratitude is a fucking attitude. However, if you need something to attach your gratitude to, then fine, attach it to the one thing that will not leave or change for the duration of your existence as a meat golem made of stardust. You can be grateful for existence.
You can be grateful for existence itself. Truly, that's the goal. Be grateful for existence because that is what you are.
Itself. Most of the universe is empty, and of the physical matter that we're aware of so far, both on this planet and others that we've studied, most of the mass that exists does not possess the faculty of being aware that it exists. Do you ever wonder how the fuck exploding stars created particles and those particle clouds congealed into a planet and bits of the planet arose from the primordial jizz awake and aware that it seems to be a thing apart from all other things? I mean, who fucking cares how it happened because it is simply a wonder that it came about at all. And its current wakeful iteration is you, and you have a backstage pass by simply being aware of your own fucking existence. Point is,
That's
life is
it.
a rare mystery, but consciousness, I mean, what the fuck? Science calls it the hard problem because we don't really know what the fuck it is. Gratitude is a fucking attitude, but if you can grasp the scope and weirdness of awareness, the fucking miracle of it, then you can be grateful to simply be aware of awareness and aware that you exist.
Recognize that the miracle of awareness, and be aware of your awareness, be aware of your consciousness, be aware of your being and your existence, and just be grateful that you get to exist, because all things in existence, we are temporary. So find as much joy as you can while you're here, and that's through gratitude.
It's a pickle though, because it's difficult to separate gratitude from a reason to be grateful. And if we're in the shit and having a hard time or suffering, then gratitude is almost inconceivable because we define our circumstance or state as shitty or undesirable, and therefore those rejections of what is become the antithesis of gratitude. But guess what? Every fucking good thing in your life that you can attach gratitude to came from some previous hardship, suffering, aversion, or opposite. Our default sense of gratitude, which thinks that something is required, only comes into being because we've known its opposite. If you're grateful for a warm room, it's because you've experienced the cold outside. If you feel grateful for a glass of water, it's because you've been thirsty. If you're grateful for a companion, it's because you were once lonely. If you're grateful for a calm, peaceful moment, it's because you've experienced chaos. Great suffering results in a natural gratitude for even a single, simple, mundane moment that suffering is absent. So fine, if you need to attach.
There's another tip, right? Recognize that we can find gratitude in the absence of the pain and suffering. So be grateful if you're not suffering in the moment, or be grateful that maybe the suffering is less. The idea is to be grateful.
Gratitude to a thing, you might as well be grateful in retrospect, at least, for every shitty thing that's happened to you because it's allowed the experience of gratitude to its opposite. And also because, why the fuck not? But attaching gratitude in retrospect is much easier than being grateful for some bullshit we're going through right now because we cannot yet discern an outcome. And we pollute gratitude with the word for. And if we can't see the for just yet, we can't feel gratitude. But gratitude is a fucking attitude. Look, it's not for me or anyone else to tell you that you should be grateful for this or that. It's for you to choose whether to start changing your relationship to reality or not. You have to look for it and overwrite old code with new code. If you're going to attach gratitude to a circumstance, then why limit it to good or favorable circumstances or experiences, or just to that which brings momentary pleasure? You can be grateful to simply exist if you remember that at some point, you, in this form, driving around this meat tractor, will cease to exist. Temporally speaking, you haven't existed as you in this universe for the last 13.7 billion years, and relatively soon, you as you will cease to exist for the rest of fucking eternity. But while you do exist, you have the extraordinary opportunity to be aware of it. And if you are aware of your own existence in whatever passing form it takes in this moment, then you can learn to appreciate it. And if you can appreciate and accept what is in whatever form it takes, you can develop an attitude of fucking gratitude. Gratitude is what you inherently are, a brief and grateful portal through which the entirety of the cosmos can peer through as a reference point and pretend it's a thing for a minute and enjoy every fucking moment despite our delusional labeling and defining and liking and hating. The wakeful emptiness, which is the substratum of our experience of the universe, is seated in the back row behind your thoughts in the theater of mind and doesn't give a shit what movie you play for it. It forgets it's the audience. It suspends disbelief and enjoys both joy and horror, pleasure and pain as experienced through the lead actor, which in your case is you. Hello. Gratitude is a fucking attitude that takes you ever closer to who and what you actually are. Gratitude exists equally in the most extraordinary and mundane moments. See it contrasted through suffering, and do not be blinded to its truest self-sustained form by momentary joy and pleasure. You can just be grateful to experience the movie of you as you. Toodaloo.
Hey, whoops. There we go. Yeah, so I dropped that again. That's Sean Boland, Rusty Eyeball. I encourage you, check that out. Give some love for I'd encourage you, maybe even listen again. Okay, because he drops a lot of different, whoa, something happened. He drops a lot of different perspectives in that short little clip. And here, actually, while I'm doing a little promotion, let me actually do this one as well. This is also in the description. I don't think I'm going to play this one, but from John St. Julian regarding the ancient prayer of origin, a mystery that transforms all who hear. It's a wonderful video. I encourage people to check him out as well. But for credit to be where it is, this idea that I wrote down came from him. We are to be as Christ was. We are to be as Christ was, you and me and all others. All others who find the awareness of being can find gratitude in existence. We are to be as Christ was, intelligence, wisdom, moved, animated by the sacred, being willing to sit still until the Holy Spirit moves, right? Till you feel inspired and called by love. You allow love to lead you through the choices in your day, through the choices of your life, through the life choices that you face. This is the whole point of being. God's given us, I've been saying this my whole life, man. Life is 50-50. You're either right or you're wrong. You either succeed or you fail. It's just 50-50. And it really is. You can walk with God, having God in your mind, truth, but the Most High, right? That idea, the principles of holiness, the principles of divinity, the principles of trueness, goodness. You can keep that in your mind, aligning your mind with your heart, or you don't have to. You can live a corrupted life. You can pretend to live in this world all alone, and there's nothing good in it. There's just evil, and it's just so dark, and there's nothing that we can do about it. And I just got to go along, and that's just the best I can do. So I got to accept it, right? These stories we tell ourselves if we don't shut up. Allow yourself to sit, to be still. Early in my practice, I found it very helpful to go sit next to the river, right? Find some nature to be with. Because nature doesn't have a schedule. It moves with the seasons. It moves with the nutrients. It moves with whatever it brings, the world brings. Be like nature. As Bruce Lee would say, be like water, right? Allow yourself to ebb and to flow and to be level, to be balanced, right? Because we are water creatures. If you didn't know, I mean, a good chunk of us, from what I've heard, is liquid and water. Water is life. I mean, and that's another miracle in itself, man. Water. Oxygen and hydrogen, two gases, somehow find an attraction together in a bond so that we can drink it and we can feel its wetness. We can skate on it in the ice and make snowballs with it. And it's just this crazy fucking wonderland God has given us. Do you know that? Do you ever think about the world that's outside of your world, the little world that you're living in? And maybe it's not little. Maybe you're very well connected and you're a world traveler and you're doing things and everything. But what's beyond that? What's beyond your routine? What's beyond what you know? What's your connection to the others that you haven't yet met? I was thinking about that earlier today. I was thankful for God for all the friendships and relationships that I've had throughout my life. I've met some incredible people. They've truly helped me become better than I would have on my own. So I was thanking God for all of the friends that I currently get to experience, remembering those that I used to get to experience, and wondering how many others I haven't yet met. How many out there are my friends that I just haven't encountered yet, right? I'm kind of done wasting my time with people who can't seem to appreciate me. I've got one who's been in the back for a little while. Um, just so you know, you're not being ignored, Stephen, although your emails have been, which I'm sure you've noticed. So I'm not sure why you're here. So, anyway, considering this other idea, I don't know if I brought this up yesterday. These ideas of, and it is in line with gratitude. Gratitude is the way, guys. It really is. See, those who are prideful or insecure is just like a mirror of pride. Those two become our downfall. So you don't want to be prideful. You don't want to be insecure. You want to build your confidence, right? And what really is confidence? I heard a definition earlier today that's just beautiful. Confidence is simply the certainty that you'll be able to figure it out, the certainty that you'll be able to handle it. And that certainty in yourself, in your ability, comes through a number of different ways. Memories of past success, right? That's where confidence comes from, as you start focusing your memories on your past successes and you start building upon your past successes and you feel more confident in yourself. Not to mention, you do things that are worthy of your praise. You do things you feel good about accomplishing for others, for yourself, right? You do things to grow in your opinion of your self-worth. You remember your successes and you gain more certainty in your own personal ability. Now, that certainty and trust in your own personal ability, the best path for that, it sounds like a paradox, but you trust in God more than yourself. Okay? It's a fine balance. You trust in what you don't know more. No, you trust in what you know because God's allowed you to know what you know. The knowing is the knower. God is the knower with you. There's a knower with me. There's a knower with you. That's the greater memory of us. I just realized the language I use to explain this stuff. If someone understands me, I am seeking like an interpreter, someone to help explain Talcottian language to like the layman people. Because it seems I've seemed to have people have found a lot of confusion in me. So this is where I've been working on me, trying to develop my ability to communicate. And really what that comes down to, I've been finding, each of us can improve our ability to communicate. How? By consciously slowing down. All right. It's when we get anxious and we're hurried and we're upset and we're emotional and just things come out. And then it doesn't really make any sense. It's just a word vomit. Many of our guests come up and just word vomit. Like, okay, well, I hope you feel better, but I'm not sure what you're accomplishing, right? So if we slow down, and slowing down opens us up to listening, right? And that's really the best way to communicate is to listen. You got to listen to yourself. I was thinking about this earlier today. Some of my critics, I am confident they don't remember the things they've said. I have a theory they don't remember the things they've said about me because they don't stop to reflect on what they've said. They don't accept responsibility or accountability. They're just filled with blame. And so they don't really remember, but they're repeating it all the time. God has created us perfectly. There is a perfect design to all things. Seek to know the perfection for yourself. This is where my prayer and meditation has brought me. God, help me to see, what am I missing? Help me to see the answers that I've not yet found. There's something there. I know it. I know there's more beyond what I found so far in my path, in my life, whatever it is, whatever direction that you're on, go to God and seek guidance, seek assistance, seek support, seek protection. Accept your vulnerabilities, accept your weaknesses, accept your faults. Why? So that you can move forward. Till you accept who you are, you'll stay in denial. You'll keep arguing and deflecting and blaming and making all sorts of excuses to be a jerk. And I'm speaking from experience. I was a jerk, especially to myself. And then to anyone I thought who was wrong, I was kind of a dick to as well. Non-violent, of course, non-violent. I just got a sharp tongue and a quick mind sometimes, but sometimes it's in the way. So I've really truly been spending a lot of time in my life each day in silence, with stillness, with the goal and intention of expanding my awareness. But it's not me doing it. It's opening myself up. It's surrendering me. It's the death coach in me, right? Allow the old you to die. Allow the identities to die. Detach from the worry. Detach from the fear. Detach from the anger. Detach from the habits of guilt and shame. They've been conditioned into us. We were born into a cult. Okay, the American way, this dream of wealth and authority, it's a cult. It fits all the definitions. And it's so crazy that we can't see what's going on, but praise God. Praise God. Find your way to the way of being like Jesus. Find your way to being, to your way of being Jesus like, okay? And you might see yourself escaping the hell that you've imagined or the hell you found yourself in. And when you escape hell, when you look back on the craziness and the silliness of the fears that we do, man, it's hilarious. I laugh at myself so much, and I can just imagine God's laughing at me too. I mean, God created us for love, with love. And what does love bring? Love brings joy. Love brings joy. Where is your joy if you don't have gratitude? If you don't have appreciation, you are joyless, hopeless. You really love us. Been there, and it's dark and it's miserable. What was this? Before the Civil War, we were after the war, it became the divided states. It was never united. It was always divided between the owning class and the poor. The poor were viewed as miseducated. They needed rulers. They needed governance. So they created the disguise of democracy with the republic, the electoral college. It really is. It's manipulation of the masses. It's friggin' brilliant, but it serves a purpose. It does. There's a value in everything. We can find all the problems. We can just complain about things or recognize there's a reason for it. There's a purpose for its being. But what is it? Is it for the purpose that it was originally created, or has it been distorted? How about you? Are you for the purpose you were originally created, or have you become distorted? That's really a question for each of us. Christos, Stephen is in the back. Told him I'm not really too interested in having him around much more, and he hasn't really shown me any reason to bring him up. What is this for? I don't know what this was for, El Perro. I mean, just because you want me to do what you want? I don't. Show the back chat. Yeah, I don't. What can I do? How do I do that? Oh, just go to. Let's do that. Sorry for the pause here, folks. I'm a little bit slow in figuring some stuff out. Let's do this. And where is it? Not that one. And we'll do that one. See if that comes through. Private chat. Asking about Rusty Eyeball. No, he's not AI. Allegedly, Stephen reached out to Dominic. I don't believe him. And Little Lippy dropped a link in the back. So I'm not sure what. Yeah, not a lot of value to be found from these people. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I really, really don't. The thing is, we live in this world each day. We have the freedom to do what we choose, to choose what we do. But many people aren't living with consciousness. They're living very reactive and limited lives. They've lost sight. They found comfort. They found comfort hidden behind their limitations, their excuses. And I did the same thing in my past. But the universe brought me some pain and suffering, caused me to move. You don't have to wait for the pain and suffering. Think about what you're doing. And if you spend time in meditation, in contemplation, in observation of what you're doing, you can avoid a lot of foolish mistakes. I mean, there's so many things I've learned along the way. I've kind of lost sight of a lot of them. But the idea, I've said this before, choose more and do less, right? Be wise with your time, your energy, resources. Don't be afraid, right? Don't hide wisdom and excuses. Don't mix those together. But be wise. You know, have a plan, but make sure you're following your purpose, not the plan, because plans are imagined. Plans are just ideas of what we want to accomplish. It's a guideline. It gives us a path, right? And we can imagine, we can predict a lot of things, but a leader, and that's what you are, that's what I want to help the world become, is greater leaders. Leaders follow a purpose. The plan is fine until it doesn't work. And when the plan doesn't work, you improvise, you adapt, you move forward. Maybe you stop and change direction, right? That's what a leader does. A true leader has a mission and a purpose. And if you've lost sight of your mission or purpose, I'm here to remind you. Okay, you're on your path, but what you do with your path, the direction you choose for your destiny, it's up to you. God's given the ideas to you in your heart, and it'll probably be hidden behind some fears, right? Because if it wasn't hidden behind fears, your heart's desire would have already been achieved. So many times I suspect our heart's desire, our true greater purpose, it's going to be hidden behind our fears, because that's part of life. You got to face that stuff. You got to overcome the darkness. You got to face the reality. God has given you life. And if you align with God, I just remembered the other reason I had John St. Julian's video in the in the description, because he points out, I won't spoil the surprise. I encourage you to listen to his words and check him out. But what he points out is so clear and obvious. Many people have been taught, right, that their prayers go to God with your problems, right? How about go to your problems with God? How about face your problems as though God has it already taken care of, and the path and the way and the answers, it's within you, should God allow it, right? That's what it means to walk with faith, to have faith in the unknown, to walk with a certainty, a confidence of you. Jesus wasn't a coward. He wasn't anxious. He wasn't depressed. He faced his moments of sadness. He cried, you know. I'd love to meet more people like that. Wouldn't the world be a better place? There's more people like that. Men being kind to men. Wouldn't that be a great world to be in, where there wasn't wars, right? Where women and children weren't bystanders in suffering in men's wars, right? That's what's happening in Israel, Sudan. I saw hundreds of children have been kidnapped by these oppositional forces funded by, United Arab, United Emirates, United States. Funding war is a disease. Brothers and sisters, it's time to break the disease. It's time to overcome the disease. See the truth, the light, and the way of Jesus. You align with God for yourself. Miracles can happen. I truly trust and believe in miracles. I've not experienced anything miraculous yet, but in a way I have. I accepted that my recovery from alcoholism, as serious and diseased as I was, that was a miracle for me. It really was a miracle. And then I thought it was kind of a miracle. I lost my job. I lost everything. Thought that was kind of miraculous, a little bit unbelievable at least. But I guess it was just unbelievable to me. Everybody else just seemed to accept it. It's like, wow, all right. I guess I got to accept it too. God doesn't want me working at the Postal Service anymore. God doesn't want me working with American Postal Workers Union or the labor organizations. God wants me where I am and where you are. There's a perfection in where you are and how you are and who you are. There is a perfection in all of that with you as well. It's hard to understand for the limited mind, right? I keep bouncing on this. Our comfort zones created by our limitations, limitations on our physical strength, our mental strength, our spiritual strength, our energy, right? We find these limits and then we accept. We accept what's good enough for us. If we didn't accept it, we'd be continuing to work out of it, to move forward beyond it. But if that is all you're doing is focusing on moving forward and beyond it, like I have been, I'm guilty of this, right? I got hungry and thirsty for achievement, man. I want to accomplish. I want to get some stuff done. That's addictive to me. Um, so I was living in that mindset and I was wearing myself out. And what I realized is, and this was I went one way where I couldn't find anything to do, I couldn't find anything good, and then I couldn't find enough to do. There's so much I want to do, there's so much I want to learn, so much I want to discover, right? So I went from one extreme to the other, and they both kind of wore me out. And so I've been learning how to be like water, right? Find the balance, to be with that which is. And when I can just let go and be with that which is, I don't feel the worry or the anxiousness or the sadness or the hopelessness. And in the absence of all those things, guess what you can find easily? You can find gratitude real easily. You can find appreciation for the absence of suffering, the absence of pain, the absence of lack. If you look in the right places, it's there for you. It's just a matter of awareness, right? It's within our mind that our lives are created and destroyed. The language, right? The words we use and hear, it's in our mind that those words become powerful. They represent things and meanings, and those things and meanings create these inner battles sometimes if it's contradictory. I heard this recently and it kind of stood out to me as well along the lines of this, how powerful words are. You and me, we have only met the version of ourselves that our language allowed us to become, right? You've only met the version of you that your language allowed you to become. Had you found different language for you, different descriptors of you, different motivations for you, different inspirations for you, you'd be different than you are, but you didn't. All of us are where we are based upon the words and the stories we've heard, we tell ourselves. But I've been watching more documentaries on the American education system, which was taken straight from the Prussian education, which was to create a society of patriots who were mindless, basically, mindless and ignorant and obedient, but willing to do whatever they were told. Well, so for those who haven't looked into the education system of America and the world, oh, it's cult. It's cultish conditioning, this patriotic nonsense, this nationalism. And then once you get into the nationalism, then you get into the political stuff and the religious stuff and all this other stuff that really, it's just the worldly crap. Let the worldly crap, don't call it that, Jack. Sorry for the, because there's wisdom to be found within all of it. Okay. But the key is not to be limited. Don't be limited by your beliefs. Don't be limited by your religion. Don't be limited by your identity, your color, your gender, whatever it is that you think that you are, realize that you are more. Actually realize you are nothing more than the awareness of what you think you are. You are the awareness of what you feel you are. But what you think and what you feel becomes real for you. So you got to check on you, check in with you. And this is where the not life coach, but the death coach does come in again, right? Let the old you love the old you enough to let it go. Okay. The excuses, the limitations, the whatever it is that's not been good for you, love yourself enough to let it go. Be grateful for your past because that'll help you be grateful for your present. And if you can be grateful for what you don't really know, what you don't really understand, you can be grateful for life because that is what life is all about. I'm curious indeed. Um, so, Stephen, is what you're saying in the back, is there any truth to it? Stephen?
Check one, check two. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Audio?
yeah.
Okay. Yes, there is some truth to that. Absolutely. I do
Which
have
part?
connections.
Which
Well,
part is true?
I do have connections with people in Washington state, and I was able to find your son's phone number.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to, but you have treated me horribly, and you've said that I'm
Okay,
disgusting and horrible
so
things.
what is Stephen? You need
Uh-huh.
to you
Yeah.
need to you need to be real. Okay, dude?
I am being real.
Yeah, I know you think you are. So
No, you were.
as I asked you, Stephen, which of these are real? I'm trying to facilitate a reunion.
Yes, but your son only wants to
Uh,
speak. Your son only wants to speak to you if I mediate. He said that
according
he
to who?
respects, according
According
to
to
your
who?
son,
And so
Dominic.
you're claiming to have spoken with my son.
Yes, and he
What
said
day
that
was this? What day was this?
it was recently.
When was that?
Recently.
What day is
I,
recent, Stephen?
I'm not
It's not
good with.
complicated.
You're not letting me respond. You're interrupting me. I said that I'm not good with remembering days. It was within the last week. I'm not someone that remembers Tuesday, Wednesday times and dates.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're
Well,
fake yawning. Don't you
you
want to meet?
you bore me, Stephen. And it's not a fake yawn. You bore me. You literally bore me with your ignorance and your foolishness. You have no clue, dude. He's a liar. I don't believe him at all. He might have found a number because hey, we live in an age of Google. It's not hard to find people when you got a name and a general location. Um, he's a liar. Goblin, how are you, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
What do you
I
think of
just,
that?
I think he's blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah,
I just came to hang out today, if that's all right.
yeah, sure. Um, hey, Stephen, you're an absolute liar. You're claiming your son will speak with you if I mediate. You said that. In the back, you're saying you are keeping Dom waiting. Kiss my ass, you loser. Evil, evil has no time. I don't care. Stephen's a liar. He's a deceiver. And I've given him every chance I care to. So until something shows to be different, I'm with God. Guys, I invite you to try it for yourself. Figure out what it means to be with God here in the present moment without guilt and shame. Having found forgiveness, having found faith, having found joy and gratitude, it's the only way to be. And the only way to be with joy and gratitude for existence, it's to be aware of who you are. You are the awareness of existence. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
This is true. It's still the reoccurring thing with people running the loops, and what it's doing is it's distracting and it's preventing. And I've noticed that, and there's something else that I wanted to talk to you about too that I've noticed, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I have a hard time communicating with people sober because I come off like I'm rude or like I'm stubborn or like I'm hard-headed. And what happens is it causes me to have a hard time on my road to recovery. And so I would just like to say I apologize for anyone that might thinks that I come off harsh sometimes, but it usually happens when I am sober. That's
Hey,
honest.
good for you for recognizing it. Now, please also recognize I'm confident that my life has given me some things that could probably help you, but it's going to require you changing your mindset. And what I'd offer for you to realize in the past, maybe you did find more comfort. The booze helped ease the nerves or whatever. Well, it was a tool and it worked. It worked for some degree, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have used it. You found a benefit in it. But the thing that has been recurring in my life over and over, the message comes up, there's always another way. Okay. So the key to breaking patterns and addictions that I can imagine works is try to identify what it is you're gaining in that use, in that practice, in the habit, in the choice, whatever it is. Find out what the positive is and then see how you replace it. Communicating can be tough, right?
That's what it is right there. It's the communication. If I had more communication and people that I was able to talk to, or like some might say a support system, even just for fellowship, it keeps me not thinking about that. And then when I feel like I'm always bottled up and I don't have anyone to talk to, I just repeat the same thing.
Mm-hmm. When we get in that feeling like there's nobody to talk to, we actually push people away because of how we are, right? I had to recognize that in myself to try and break those habits. And I'm still trying to stop pushing people away, but holy cows, man, people are picky. People are picky, dude. And Goblin, the scripture talks about those who are called, right? I've heard you're on a path, you're seeking consciousness, you're seeking the answers, you're growing. And I think you are a God, you are an example too, my friend. Similar to me. We're here to break these patterns that our families have been dealing with, whether it's poverty, addiction, anger, sadness, whatever. We are here to break those patterns because breaking the patterns of the past is going to help end the suffering. It'll greatly reduce the suffering in the present and the future if we confront the dark patterns.
You and I actually have a lot in common. That's why, like, even when I get upset or I disagree, I'll take a break and then I'll come back. But that's like I can relate to a lot of things that you've shared over the years, and that's what causes me to want to come back because you have achieved what I've not achieved yet.
Perfect. Keep coming back, my brother. And thank you for finding the forgiveness and moving past our disagreements because this is our path. And you're similar to me. Okay, where I was going with this is in the scripture. It's clear. We are here and we will be refined. Okay, to be refined, we're going to be put in the fire. And I've heard a story. I've never looked into it to see if it's true, but I've heard a story from a couple pastors about how silver is refined, right? Got to go in the fire over and over until it's for heat and temperance. It's got to go in there over and over. And how do you know when it's done? How do you know when it's refined? When he can look in the mirror and look into it and see his image, right? That's what God is doing with us. As we refine, God can see his image. See the image of God is shown from us as we go through the fires. So a lesson I've had to face, you're on a similar path. You got others around, but they may not fully understand you. You're not getting the support you're hoping for, the recognition. I get it. It's to toughen you up. Okay. But the way to really toughen you up is to receive the power of God. That means surrender to you, to the highest you. Then you're free, dude.
That's very true. And also to stay focused, because it's so much distractions out here to keep to try to knock off course. And unfortunately, those distractions, a lot of them have been effective. And so I'd like to break that too. But time, my friend.
Time is a mystery. It is only now, and it's always now. So now is where we can do our changes, right? We make plans to change in the future, but it's now that change can happen. And it happens with a choice. It happens with a commitment, happens through a realization. We learn something new. We discover something different, and bam, dude, things transform. What I'm thinking, my brother. Well, with you too, the goal is to surrender to what you can and cannot control, and beyond you, nothing, right? We don't control any others, right? The people that we want to understand us, we can't force them, can't make them be willing. So what I've been trying to do is be patient with them and me. Okay. And so you got to figure out how to be patient. What does that mean? It means to be without, right? Sometimes doing absolutely nothing, but being at peace. That's the goal. If you simplify your life, life can be extremely complicated, but it can also be very simple. If you find simple purpose, simple goals, simple choices for yourself, you can create a simple life. And the simple way, the simple purpose, grow in your gratitude and joy. That's it.
It's very true. I'm going to jump down because I want to meditate on that. And you were doing a great monologue as well. Thank you.
Much love to you, my friend. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you for joining. Imagine this world, right? With all of the craziness that you've learned of, but all of the beauty, all the creativity, all of the art, all the music, all the flavors, all the sounds, all the unexplored, right? The mysteries of life here on earth. We've been given everything we need. We have. It's always been here. Everything humanity has needed has been here from the beginning. The technology for or the resources to create our laptops, our quantum AI computing and all this crap, the resources to build the planes, the electrical systems, all of this, it's always been there. In the wagon days and the dark ages, all the resources have been there. What was lacking was the knowledge, right? Mankind collectively, before we were born, there's been a lot of knowledge lost, but there's also been a lot of knowledge gained over the generations of life that Mother Earth has sustained. And so collectively, mankind has learned a lot, but what comes into being It starts in the mind. It starts with the idea. If man doesn't find the idea, are we going to create it? Probably not. I mean, things happen by accident, but from our perspective, but if we're not intentional and focused on what we're doing, we lose sight. And there's people in this world who have been studying human behavior, who have been aware of the occulted sciences. There's people who know things that you and I don't know, and we've got to accept that. It doesn't mean you can't trust anyone. It doesn't mean you can't understand anyone. You just got to realize there's a lot of people who profit from keeping you misinformed, having you miseducated, having you confused and suffering from trauma, suffering from diagnosis, suffering from disease, right? There's industries created to profit and exploit human beings. This is evil. It really is a spiritual battle that we're experiencing here on earth, and it's happening through you, through me. And I found this idea, this image, this possibility for me, and I feel it in my heart. I've been wondering about this idea since 2018 when I started turning into, no, maybe it was 2019 when I started getting more clarity. Somewhere along the way, many years ago, I started to believe that we could be living through this time where the new kingdom emerges, because we got to face it. The current dynasty, the American dream, it's crumbling. Poverty's growing, so is wealth, right? Which side are you on? There's an old Union song about that. Which side are you on? I'm on the side of justice. I'm on the side of righteousness. I'm on the side of honor and integrity and kindness. I'm on the side of joy and freedom. Those are the principles of life that I embrace. That's the natural law that Jesus demonstrated for us. He showed us God's law. How have we lost our way so far? So many children in this world are suffering. So many moms and dads are overworked. So many people. But there's a divine order. There is a divine order. Many of us are living lives considerably different than others. You know, some have blessings, some have hardships. We're all going through these things together, and somehow, in the greater picture, everything comes together. Everything works out. There's a perfect order. There's just a cause and effect, but there's a first cause behind it all. There's a first cause with it all. It is the I am, the creator, the creative force that allows the awareness and the will to be within you, to have the love and the desire to know you. It's been given by God, life, that is, existence and awareness. They're not guaranteed. We don't know when they go away. We don't know when we discover greater, right? Greater awareness, greater ways of existing, greater ways of living freely. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, we have the opportunity in this lifetime to do something unbelievable, to experience something that perhaps has not been experienced on this world, a world of peace, where human beings have a purpose together, to be at peace with themselves and one another. And we accomplish that through the act of intentional communication, right? Communicating with kindness, with compassion, with the awareness of the goal. And the goal and the purpose is relationships. And I just realized I am bouncing all over the place. But it's all tied together. If you think about what existence is, it's only a relationship. Think about what awareness is. It's somewhat of a relationship. You're aware of your awareness and something else, whether it's a thought or a feeling or a person or anything. It's It's a relationship. You are a relationship. I am a relationship. We're not things, right? We are love. The energy of love brings forth the light. The energy of love reveals all that is real. The energy of love brings forth the truth. What are you receiving? Are you receiving life? Are you receiving love? Are you receiving wisdom? Or are you lost and confused, fighting for your way, fighting for your place, trying to earn your way into this? Man, bump that. That's a crazy sauce. Mind control programming created by the owning class who wants the working class to work harder. Why? Because they generate better profits. If you work harder and faster for someone else's dream, it comes more real more quickly. It's that simple. Business is simple when you increase your awareness and you think like the owning class, you figure it out. All you got to do is think like someone else and you can understand someone else. I spend a lot of time thinking about Jesus, trying to understand what was he aware of? What did he know? What did he not know? What did he hear, right? Visions, thoughts, ideas. Did he hear God's voice? I suspect he found his way perfectly. He knew from early in his youth he was here to be the divine spirit of goodness. He was designed for a greater destiny. And see, in some ways, as an individual being created by the creative force of intelligence and life, he had an advantage in some way that you and I didn't. His perfect path was kind of showed to him, I imagine. I imagine he had some sort of foresight in what he was going to face and what he would be expected to do. But on the other hand, too, I imagine the years before his ministry, strolling in as a younger man, um, I can certainly imagine in the years before his ministry, he was prepared, right, to know God, to know how to walk with holiness in the face of opposition and cruelty and liars and cheaters and deceivers and bullies, right? Walking in the face of darkness, being confident, certainty, holding certainty in you, in the truth that you know, in the power of God, the power of Christ that has prepared you to live again today, to be animated into life, through life, for life, to be known. That's what we are. We are this creative force. We are the living truth of today. Unless you're not truthful. See, if you're filled with your own ideas and your own stories, and those don't align with what's true, then you're full of yourself. And if you fill yourself of yourself, guess what? Not as much room for God. God is. It's outside. Earlier, you could see the buildings across the street. But I guess with the light going down, now it just reflects the light from within. Ooh, isn't that something? I wonder if there's something there. The light being reflected back when it's surrounded by the darkness. But the light still shines despite the darkness. The darkness has no power over the light, for the light is always one. It is the light that allows the darkness to be. God is so good. I tell you what, God is so glorious. I'm actually feeling pretty whole. And funny enough, I started early today because there was another stream happening. For those who know of me and what's going on with me, OTW Live and I did a collaboration recently And today he is discussing the shape of the world and the sun with Jaron. So originally my idea was to start a little early, forward us over to share some support over there. But it looks like they bumped the time up. They're doing it later. So I'm not gonna keep going until they I'm not gonna keep going until they get started. But I may leave it to forward over there anyway. But Cage, what's going on, man?
How are you, Talcott?
What would be your guess?
Well, I don't have to guess.
I'm asking you to guess. What would be your guess of how am I doing? What do I usually say?
I'm doing well.
Feeling blessed, my brother.
I have bad news, Talcott.
What's that?
My mother died earlier this morning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep. And it's my birthday tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know. I got a phone call. Yeah.
That's a big change. Was this anticipated or kind of sudden and surprising?
Not really sudden. Well, I don't know. Nothing really surprises me anymore.
Well, it's still a big change, okay? And I'm sorry for the news, right? The sudden change and timing kind of sucks. Do you want to talk about this? I mean, we don't have to do it publicly. I'd like to be there to support you. And
No, why not? I'm here.
What's that?
Why not? I'm here, aren't I? So.
Well, what are you feeling?
Nothing really.
Have you processed any feelings? Have you considered what it means?
I guess so. I don't know.
Cage, I don't want to make assumptions. Given the little bit I know about your past, there's probably a lot of mixed feelings in this. I can assume there's mixed feelings in this. But I have the impression you may be carrying around some unrecognized, maybe sadness within you. There's something. The reason I'm bringing this up is losing a mother. It can bring a lot of different emotions, but typically sadness is a normal, healthy reaction. And if that's absent, then perhaps that's something that you've been pushing away from yourself for a while. Grief is a real part of our life. Sometimes we got to grieve the loss of our childhood. Sometimes we got to grieve the loss of our innocence. We got to grieve what has been taken. And that includes relationships. I'm not saying to allow it to break you. That's not it at all. But I do encourage you to tune into emotions and let the emotions be felt. Okay? It's the only way to really heal or process things. Actually, this is a great reminder for me. Thank you, Trexty. In the immediate aftermath of a loss, it makes sense because it hasn't been a process completely. What are you feeling from that? Anything coming up? Even if you reject the idea, I understand that too. But
just here, man. Appreciate it.
Life is an interesting journey. We figure out who we are. My theory, we figure out who we are by the shit we allow ourselves to go through. And we may not realize we're the ones allowing ourselves to feel the things or to face the things, because a lot of the things seem like they're out of our control. But there's a pattern to it all, and I trust there's a higher spirit that's with us all. There's I'm not sure how I want to say it. It seems to me like there's multiple levels of consciousness that we can tune into. We can tune into the highest consciousness, which brings forth the answers and the love, the unity and the healing. Or we can reach into the lower answers, which bring the worldly answers, which is suffer.
Here, if I want to feel something, I'm pretty angry, really. I want to track these people down and fucking tie them up. So I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know.
Who's these people?
Anyone who's responsible, anyone's, I don't know yet, okay? I haven't got the mortician's note done. Anyone who had anything to do with it at all.
Okay. Well, if you get news, as you get news and as you get information, please realize I'm here to help you. Okay? Here to support you. Because life can be tough, especially if, you know, when things change on us, it brings a lot of uncertainty. And anger can be a normal part of that too, right? But I encourage you, don't let the anger become you. Don't let the sadness become you. Allow those things to be for you, right? But revenge doesn't help. Oh.
No, I can't wait to torture them and shit. We're going to see mortality very soon.
Well, here, for you, should have known shit was serious when there was no owl cage. And hope it might give you a smile to know she did. She held up an owl to me yesterday.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back. All right.
She cares. I care. Many people care. We live in a world that it seems we live in a world where care has been lost. Love has been misunderstood. Truth has not been honored. Wisdom has not been respected. Youth and innocence have not been respected or honored either. Our world is ready for a shift. There's many people are experiencing their own breakthroughs. Hey, we've got someone in the back, but I'm not sure if this is the right day for this. Cage, are you and Axis on good terms?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Hey, Axis, how you doing?
What's going on, Talcott?
Hey, blessings. And just so you understand, because of Cage's recent news, I wanted to defer to
What
him.
happened?
Mom died the day before my birthday tomorrow.
Really? Your mom died?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I suppose a half-baked, drunken, forked tongue ass like you deserve that.
Yeah, that's not respectful or honorable, Axis. I know you're trying to be provoking and
Thanks a lot, buddy. No.
character. That's juvenile and foolish. Axis, you're better than that.
She no longer has to suffer in this realm anymore, okay?
You know, Cage, if that gives you peace, please accept that and embrace that, right? Because it is the truth. Part of that is true. And the key for your peace, the key for your healing is for you to be able to accept, to find peace with, right? And really, I'm telling you, the best way I found to heal, it's in line with this topic, escaping hell. Escape hell by the willingness to enjoy the time you've got, right? Escape hell by laughing at the fears, at the sorrow, at the anger. None of it lasts. None of it lasts. It only lasts as long as we give it attention. The pain is only as deep as we focus on it and we allow it to get. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's partially untrue. Because the pain and the sadness, man, I've experienced that shit. It just comes over and takes over, and it's like,
For real though,
shit.
no, but Talcott, for real though, like this guy hears something like that, and what he says, you want to kick going on down like that, for real? Or come on, that was fucking crazy. I couldn't even believe that shit. Are you kidding me?
He revealed his lack of honor. Okay. And I'm sorry it was revealed and shown to you because, yeah, it wasn't appropriate. I know he's better than that. So, but this is the world that God has given us. And the reality is we get to choose. We get to choose a lot more than we want to accept. I believe it's possible. We chose to be here. God allowed us to become life, being born to the parents that we might have chosen. I mean, we may have had some intelligence and input into the path that we're living. I don't know how life works beyond what I've experienced within life, but within life, the way of Jesus, the truth is there. Practice it for yourself. Faith is only for the brave. If you're not going to be courageous, if you're not going to face your fears, you got no reason to have faith. You're comfortable. You did it all yourself, right? That's the stories that Satan sells. The darkness sells us lies with smiles and sweet temptations, saying life will be easier. It'll be more fun when you fight and revenge. When you think of yourself, you got to take care of yourself, nobody else. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hey, actually, I do think I'm going to start wrapping up, Gage. If you're welcome to stick around, maybe we can chat afterwards, or it's up to you, though. Okay? Anything before I drop you to the back? No worries, brother. Thank you. And I feel I said what I wanted to say. I shared what I hope to offer. Just to recap, for those who may have missed it earlier, in the link in the description of the video, there's a couple of links for one on gratitude with Sean Boland, Rusty Eyeball. There's another one from John St. Julian on the power of prayer. And truly, the message I received from both of them, the first, gratitude. We've talked a lot about gratitude today. Escaping hell. When you're grateful, you feel more joy. When you feel more joy, that's how you literally enjoy. You enjoy. You become one with joy. Joy is you. And when you're with joy, love, man, ain't nothing wrong. When you're filled with love, ain't nothing wrong with anyone or anything. But you can't find gratitude out there. You can't find love out there. It's all here within you. But you got to be willing to go within you. I've been going on along, but I was thinking earlier about how I used to watch the life around me. I pay a lot of attention to the people around me, the things around me. I was always on edge. I was on guard, it seemed. Never learned how to relax. Or I'd forgotten how to relax. That's more accurate. I'd forgotten how to relax, how to just be at peace without going numb or silent. It wasn't until I saw myself as part of what I was experiencing, meaning you. I'm a part of you. You are a part of me. Even though physically you're not here, mentally you're part of this, and we are this experience being shared. As I started seeing me in more of what I was experiencing, I connected the dots for myself. I am the cause to the effects that I find. The effects that I find because become the cause that I am, I guess, right? So everything's tied together. The message from Sean Borland earlier today is being grateful. Grateful for who you are, and who you are is the awareness of existence. So be grateful for your awareness, be grateful for your existence, and that will open the door. It'll open the door for more joy, more laughter, more good feelings are there. I'm going to wrap it up here and sincerely thank everyone who's a part of this adventure with me. Sincerely, from me to you, and until next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. And for those who stick around, I'm going to forward you over to the OTW thing. It's not going to start yet, but at least there you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe you can tune in, subscribe. See you later. Till next time. Peace. God bless.